Hey, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Meaningful Work Podcast. Realize I always emphasize full because the goal is to help you live a life full of meaning and fulfillment. So, listen, I'm excited about our conversation for today. So, let me not belabor it. Hello, Nicole. Get your words together. Let me introduce our guest today. It is Dr. Rachel-Yvonne Talton. Now, she is the founder and CEO of the award-winning firm Synergy International Limited. Synergy's purpose is to help leaders and organizations to become more effective, more inclusive, more trustworthy, and more engaged across their stakeholder ecosystem. Now, listen, Synergy helps to enhance executives and teams at the intersection of leadership, inclusive culture, and consumer needs. Now, in addition to all of that, she's a successful entrepreneur and is an award-winning published scholar, keynote speaker in the areas of leadership, diversity, employee and consumer engagement, and trust. Now, she's also affectionately called the CTO, the Chief Transformation Officer of Flourish Leadership and the Flourish Conference for Women in Leadership. Now, listen, she has so many accolades. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. She serves on several corporate boards and nonprofit boards. Listen, she's also a member of Chief Bow Collective, an advisory board member of the National Women Business Collaborative. She's been recognized by several organizations and has won numerous awards for both her work in her business and in the community. She's been featured as an expert in inclusion and leadership strategy on ABC News, Fox News, and I can go on and on and on and on. Y'all can get that this woman is pretty high stuff, right? Listen, she's also an author. She has authored several practitioner and academic articles, and her number one Amazon bestseller in leadership called Flourish, Have It All Without Losing Yourself was published in January of 2016. And her latest collaborative effort, The Sixth Level, which was published in November of 2023. She's currently working on a new book, y'all, so get ready for something new to come out. But listen, she's earned her doctorate in management from Case Western University, Case Western Reserve University's Weatherhead School of Management, where she has served as adjunct professor on marketing. She also holds a diversity inclusion training certificate from Cornell University. Her research is focused on the impact of perception of trust, satisfaction, and value. And I can go on and on. Listen, this woman is powerful. And so let's bring her up. Welcome, Dr. Rachel.
Hello, 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 my sister. Happy
So
New
excited.
Year. And it's so exciting to be here with you. And congratulations on all of the moves that you are making this year.
Well, I
God
appreciate you.
bless
Now,
you.
listen,
And I
I,
just love you.
I love you too, girl. Listen, the first person that popped in my head when God pretty much popped this in my spirit to do a podcast was you. And let me tell y'all, let me out myself. So Dr. Rachel and I were on another not podcast, more of like a training, and she was leading it, I was hosting it. And you said something on that training, and yes, I'm going all the way in at the beginning, that
Mm,
gave me permission. And the reason I'm starting that is for this in this place is for many women, no matter how far you climbed, that list we had in our 20s of all the things we wanted to accomplish. And I'm saying wanted to, because some of us, we've accomplished them. And yet you feel like there's something more. And so tell us the moment you found that for yourself, what that looked like. And I'm not going to say what she calls it. I'm going to let her tell her what she called the shift.
mm, 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 mm. Ooh, thank you so much for that question. So I'm actually going to start when I was 6 or 7 years old, right? I'm going to start at the beginning,
Yes.
beginning, right? And Happy New Year to all of your listeners, and I want to send many blessings to all of you. So I was 6 or 7 years old when I somehow we had a babysitter, and and I watched the movie Sybil.
Mm.
And some of you are not old enough to remember that. I know I'm only 28.
I know that's right.
Actually, I'm 58 and very proud to be it. Um,
And don't look it at all. Hello.
well, thank you. Thank you. We know we work hard at looking the age that we feel, right, which is
Right.
28. So I watched the movie Sybil, and Sybil, if you haven't seen it, it is about a young girl who had 27 personalities, 27 personalities, and she it's about her struggles through trying to integrate those personalities and understanding all of them. And as a 6 or 7 year old, I I don't think I blinked like
Mm,
like this through the whole.
mm,
And I wanted to get inside of the TV. Like I pictured myself going into the TV set and working with her and putting her in my mind. I wanted to put her back together. So for me, it wasn't that she was broken. It was that she needed someone to help guide her through
mm.
the process of
Wow.
back together, back to her purpose, right? And so my mom was like, what's going on? Like the next day or 2 days later, and I said, Mommy, I want the job that puts Sybil back together.
Mm,
And she was like, who are you? Where's my 6-year-old?
right.
Who let you watch that movie? Um, what is going on? And I said, well, there's this movie and blah, 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 a 6-year-old trying to explain. And I said, and I wanted to jump through the TV and put her back together. And that's the job I want. I know that's what I
Mm,
want to be. And so after she after she got back to her senses and probably called the babysitter about letting us watch that movie, she started to bring me books, Jung and Freud and Nietzsche and all these
mm,
things that she had never read, that I could not possibly understand, but I started to read it.
mm.
And I could, again, I couldn't articulate, I couldn't understand, but I knew that my God job, right? That's the word that you were
That's the
talking about.
word, y'all. God job. God job. We're going to come back to that. That's the word. Go ahead.
I knew at that moment, very early on in life, that my God job was to help people with challenges that they couldn't see.
Mm,
Right? So I knew that people got sick. I understood that people, might have a broken leg or some illness that you could see.
right.
But my God job was to work with people who had challenges you couldn't see. And I
Mm,
knew I was good at that. And so even before that, like I was the person, Nicole, that everybody would come to. You had a
right.
problem? We're talking 6 and 7 years old, right? You
Right.
got a
Right.
problem? You go to Dr. Rachel. People called me that when I was little. They
Mm.
spoke it to existence.
And I love
Um,
this story, just to interrupt you real quick, because I want you guys to get this. All of us have this innate
yes,
thing that we're
yes,
born with. It's our
yes.
purpose. It's the thing that we do effortlessly, and people come to you without you seeing it. And as you were talking, what came to me is a Bible verse, Matthew 5:16. Let your light so shine. I can go on and
Ooh,
on. But the point is, your
ooh.
light was shining so bright at
Mhm.
6 that
That's
people
it.
were already coming to you. I love that.
Yes, yes, yes. And calling me, speaking the words, Dr. Rachel.
Mm,
And I wasn't a
mm,
doctor. I didn't even know what that meant. Like to
right.
me, doctors fix problems you can see, right?
Yeah.
And I was very clear through high school, through college. I was psych pre-med. I knew I was going to be a psychiatrist. That was my goal. That was my mission. And about my third year in college, they were like, "Well, your interest is is abnormal psychology, and so you'll need to go to school for about another 23 years." I was like,
Ooh,
"What?"
right.
um,
Anybody trying to do that?
Wait,
Right.
I need clothes now.
Right. Hello.
Right? I need a nice house today.
Right.
So, so I was like, wait a minute. I didn't sign up for 50 years of school.
Right.
Uh, of course, what did I do, Nick? Ended up going to school for that 30 years. But the way that God works, He takes you through twists and turns until you find your alignment with his purpose for your life.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I ended up, I went back to California. I worked with United Cerebral Palsy, and I came back to Cleveland. My mom wasn't doing well, and I came back to Cleveland, and ended up just randomly in a job in banking. Now, mind you, I had been very focused since the age of 6, so I had never taken a business class in my
Right.
life.
Right.
Didn't know a thing about business. All I knew was how to help people, how to
Mhm.
hug them and love them, right? You know me, right?
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
It's
That
like
is you
I know
all
how
day, every day. Right.
right, right, exactly. I know how to love you back to success, love you
Mhm.
back to health and flourishing. And ended up in this job in banking, and was on the management track to become chief marketing officer at what was then PNC Bank. I worked there for 10 years, was very successful, married the love of my life, 6'10", 310-pound, a lawyer, an incredible human being. And we were married for 2.5 years, and he suddenly passed away.
Mm.
Suddenly passed away, and as you can imagine, my life was absolutely turned on its head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to share something with you. I don't share this often, but I will share it with you. Um, so after Mark passed away, I mean, literally, he suddenly passed away. He wasn't sick, you know.
Right.
He went to work. It was a Tuesday, March 12th, 2002. He went to work. I had had a dream the night before, and it
Mm.
was a horrible experience that Mark was choking me.
Mm.
And, this is a person that loves me more than life. He would never, ever hurt me.
Right.
But his eyes were saying, "I love you." Right. It was so I'm thinking in my mind, in this dream, I'm thinking, if you love me so much, why are you trying to hurt me? Why are you trying to kill me?
Right.
And
Right.
so I woke up, and usually, like, I share my dreams. I'm like, "Mark, this is what I dreamed." Blah, 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 da, da, da. And I couldn't share. I couldn't tell him. It would ruin his day. He
Mm.
would be,
Mm.
horrified, mortified. So that morning, I canceled a breakfast that I had with my brother, Quentin McCorvey, who was at KeyBank at that time. And I said, "Let's go to breakfast." And he was like, "You have a breakfast?" I said, "I know, I canceled it." He was like, like, that never happens, ever.
Right. Right.
Okay. And so we went to breakfast. I dropped him off at the city. He worked for the mayor of Cleveland at that time, running the OPS division, the Office of Professional Standards, and I never saw him again. Never saw
Mm.
him. And so
And
so
so,
through,
wait, before you even pass by that, because I want you guys to get this, your life can change like that without you even having notice, preparation, knowing what's going to happen. I love that you felt in your spirit enough to shift
yeah,
your morning to
woo,
spend time with him. I often call our gut God uttering
yes,
time out. And you
mm,
listen to that. And because you
yes.
listened to that, you had that last moment with your husband.
Last moment. That last
Mm,
moment. We
mm,
saw the mayor. We talked to her. We had the best breakfast at the Key Center in Cleveland. And I dropped him off. Another interesting thing, another interesting moment here. And we'll get to the leadership and trust and all the things, but these are spiritual moments, and I know
mhm,
that you are a spiritual being. Our
mhm.
goal is to provide that fullness through personal, through spiritual, through emotional, psychological, professional, right?
Yes.
And so, I, I'm ashamed to say this. I am. I'm ashamed to say this. Um, so often, I was a workaholic, and I'm still a workaholic, right? So when sometimes I would see Mark's name on my phone, and I'd be like, I'll call him back, right? I'll call him back.
Right,
I'm in the middle of something, whatever.
right.
And so he so when I was leaving, I dropped him off. I was leaving his office. He called, and I was like, processing what the rest of the day was going to look like since I had canceled the morning. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, nope, I'm going to answer the phone. I want to tell you, 99 times out of 100, I wouldn't have answered the phone. I would have
Mm,
no, seriously, I would have
mm.
just said, I'll call him back. Because we
So
have
good.
80 years. We have 80 years
Yeah.
to share our love with each other, right? We have
Yeah.
all this time.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? I'm going to answer the phone. I said, hi, baby. And he was like, kitten. That's what he called me. Kitten, I just want to tell you I love you. And I was like, I love you too. He was just so sweet. Oh my God. And so I went to work, and the next thing I know, his assistant came to my office and said Mark that had passed out. He had not passed out. He had a heart attack.
Wow.
He went running, ran for 5 miles for lunch, and came back to his office and passed away.
Wow.
Um, so he came there and said that he had passed out, because that's,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can't do anything else, right? That's
Yeah.
you certainly can't say anything else. So
Right.
so
Right.
he's like, "Can I drive you?" And I was like, "No, I'll drive myself, and he can get in my car, and I'll drive him back." He said, "Nope, nope, I'm going to drive you." So he
Mm.
drove me to the hospital, and I walked into the hospital, and it was weird because the current safety director and the former safety director were there.
Mm.
And I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, that's weird." I was like, "Hey, hi,"
Right.
and they're like, "Hi," and they took me into this room. Again, I share all of this with you because each moment is a message,
Ooh.
right? Each moment is a message. And I was
Yes.
like, that's so weird. Why is the old safety director here as well as why are they here, period?
Right. Right. Right.
If he just passed out. So finally they shared with me that they'd been working on him for 45 minutes, and they couldn't recover him. They took me back to see him. They forced me to go and see him, and I said, Mark, wake up, baby, wake
Mm. Mm.
come back to me. Um, and I went through 3 months of just trauma,
Yeah.
the heartache, the heartbreak.
Yes.
My family, my mom is one of 19 children, no twins.
Mm. Jeez.
19.
Wow.
So my family came in, and they like took turns, right,
Yeah.
coming to stay with me, and making sure that I was okay. And there was this moment, girl, look, none of this none of this podcast was supposed to be about this. But
But it's good. And let me tell you why it's
this
good.
story,
Because
this
even though that was such a hard, devastating moment, it became the catalyst for your next level,
that's
right?
right. That's right.
And so let's skip to, because this is good. And look, I know you got some yummy stuff. And listen, not that I don't want to hear your story, and the rest of us do, but I want to get to that conversation you had with your mentor at a critical moment. Because
Mhm.
again, you guys, I want to remind you, at 6, she knew she wanted to be somebody to fix people. Okay. At 6, they were calling her Dr. Rachel. But
Mhm.
somewhere along the way, you shifted and went into finance, right? You went
Mhm.
into the financial industry. And
Yes.
many of us, that's what happens. We get into a career that we either aren't meant to, like what's the difference between should and could,
Right.
or we don't like it, but we're in it because we're making good money, we're moving through the ranks. And then we get to a place where we feel guilty for wanting to move because we're doing great.
Right.
So
Right.
in this critical moment of you're losing your husband, you're trying to pull the pieces back together, your mentor asks you a really huge question.
Huge question.
Tell us about that.
So my mentor, his name is Pat Mullen. He passed away about 3 months ago,
Mm.
and you couldn't have named a person more opposite of me. White, male, Republican. Okay,
Okay.
he was accountant. Like you couldn't have made it up. And so I went to him, as I shared with you, family coming in and people trying to help me through this. But the one thing that I couldn't get through was I just didn't love my job. I was not spiritually connected to my work anymore.
Mm.
So I shared that with Pat, and we're sitting there, and he's, and I'm telling him I'm sitting outside my job crying. I just don't want to do this work. It's easy. I mean, it's literally easy to do, but I
Right.
don't love it. I don't love it anymore. I'm not spiritually connected to it.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, tell me what you do love.
Mm.
You're so good at your work. You're telling me what you don't love. I don't want to hear that. Tell me what you love." And I said, "I love it when an organization understands its customer needs.
Mm.
And I love it when they give their employees the tools and resources to meet those needs and
Right.
make sure that those people are satisfied and they're living their purpose.
Mm.
And when the organization is profitable." So I sat there and drew those three circles: gets the customer needs, gets the employee needs, and is profitable. And I was like, when those three things happen, I love that. And I can make that happen. So I got excited, and he said, "That's synergy." I said, "Yeah,
Mm.
synergy.
Oh
That's
my
synergy."
goodness. I didn't even realize that's how you named your company. I just
That's
got
how I named
goosebumps.
my
Oh my
company.
God.
That is how I named my
So
company,
good.
sitting right there, right
Wow.
there. And again, I was still with the bank at the time, and he invested in me. He said, "Well, let's do it. Let's do it." And it's interesting. We think about through the Bow Collective, through whatever organizations we're in around business, we think about how to expand our businesses, how to get investments. Um, I'm really, I think this might be the first time I'm saying this. He invested $25,000.
Mm.
He invested his time. I mean, I was like, I don't need the money. Like, I have, I have a decent savings. I'm willing to
Right.
invest that savings. He was like, "Nope, I don't want you to do that. I want to invest." He was our first venture capitalist
Mm.
that invested in our business.
But
And
what he really was too was an angel.
was
It's
an
like
angel,
God sends
an
us these
angel
angels
investor.
on earth. He connects us to people that help us
Ooh,
bridge in a moment of gap. And sometimes we overlook it, especially when it's packaged. Like I love how you said he was totally opposite of me, nothing
opposite.
close at all. And so many of us overlook the gift that God is trying to bring to
That's
help
right.
us get over that bridge.
That's
So
right.
I love that. And let me just acknowledge one other thing because this story is good. I don't know if y'all are excited because listen, if I had a pen in front of me, I'd be writing notes and I'd forget to be a host because this is good. So listen, the other thing I love that you said is he said, "What do you love?" And you started to really
Mhm.
pull out the concepts probably that you
Yes.
were doing when you were 6.
Right.
And
Right.
because it's not a traditional doctor, and the reason I'm bringing that up here is that's the same issue I had when I worked in the entertainment industry. And all my clients kept saying, "Nicole, you're my coach." I'm like, "What is that? What's a
Right.
coach?" This
Right.
is in the 90s, y'all, right? So in that moment, you have to be willing to come outside your comfort zone to do something you've never done, to have a version of you you've never been.
That's right. That's right. That's right. 110%. And speaking about a version I've never been, this was 22 years ago. 22 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, and I have iterated, talking about versions of yourself that you've never been.
Mm.
Our first client was Kent State University. I had no idea what this business was going to be,
Right.
but I knew that if I focused on my God job every
Mm.
single day. Now, this is a daily decision. This is a very important piece, okay? Because sometimes we make these big statements, and it's hard to live those statements every day.
Right.
I have to make the decision daily, okay, to live my God job daily.
So
So
good.
so
And
when
so
I'm
tell us real quick when you say God job, just to make sure everybody's on the
mm,
same page with you, tell the listeners what you mean by God job.
yes, 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 yes. So for me, my God job is being aligned with my values, with my values that I know that God put in my heart, right? And so for me, that value, first and foremost, every assessment I've ever taken, this is altruism walking around. I am altruism, right?
Right.
If you got a problem, I'm ready to fix it, right? Like that's what that is my God job.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that God job is altruism. It is
Mm.
it is ensuring that everybody has the equal opportunity to succeed and flourish, right? To
So
flourish
good.
without losing yourself, to
Right.
flourish in all things without losing yourself. And so that's my God job. Someone else's God job may be that they can see strategically. They can, you give them a problem and they see the answer, right?
Right.
That somebody else might be financial. They can go in and understand all the data and really tell a story with that data. Somebody else might be technology. They can take AI to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what your God job is, what did God put you here to do? Where did he put like God is omnipotent. He can do
Yes.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing that he did. He was done with you and then he turned around and went back.
I love it.
Okay? He turned around
Mm-hmm.
and went back and said, "You know what? I'm going to give her a little bit of extra this. I'm going to
Mm.
give him a little bit of extra that."
Mm.
What is that in your life?
So good.
What is that in your life? So for me, it is about helping people who have problems you can't see, who have challenges that you can't see, or who have opportunities that you can't see. And
So good.
I can get in there and because God turned around just one time. And so I'm going to give her a little bit of extra that. What is
And
that
you've
thing?
been that. And you've been that since you were little. And that's why I love your story. Now, I will tell you all, when I first heard Dr. Rachel's story, and sorry I interrupted her, but I want to say this here because I think so many of us get stuck in perception instead of purpose, right?
Mm,
We're stuck on what people
mm,
say we should be, or what our family say we should be, or what our degrees say we should be, or whatever that is. And we never stop long enough to tap into, I call it our being. I say to my clients, I call it our be, do, have. We're so focused on
yes,
what do we need to do when God is only going to show up in your being.
that's right.
He's
That's
going to let you
right.
be busy. And that moment when everything in your life felt like it was falling apart, it was
Mm,
opportunity for God actually to bring your angel in to help you see what was next. Well, not even what was next, allow you to see how you can start to live in your God job. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for being transparent and sharing your journey. Thank you that you said yes to your God job and that
mm,
you're fixing all of us. And
mm.
thank you for showing us how the role of purpose really gives us career satisfaction when we're willing to say yes to the thing that God crafted and created us to do. Thank you, girl. Thank you for being
Oh,
here.
you're so welcome. Can I just share
Sure.
one more thing?
Sure.
I feel this is important. And your listeners may not. I just spent a month in Africa, and I came away with purpose. Purpose is my
Mm,
word for this year.
mm,
So this, our conversation is just so aligned. Our
yeah.
conversation is so aligned.
Yeah.
Spending that month on the continent and understanding all of the challenges and opportunities that we have in 2025, leaning into those challenges and opportunities
Yeah.
is really important. So I would just ask your listeners to really reflect on if they would design a life, a work life, a personal life, a civic life, a social life that is perfectly aligned with their purpose. What
Mm,
what would that look like?
so good. So
What would
good.
that look like?
What
So
would that look
that's what
like?
I leave you. That's what I leave you with. Literally leaning into your purpose. For me, it is about every human, every being, every single interaction that I have, that I lead with God's purpose for my
Mm,
life. And if I do that, if I make that decision every day, then I will make the Lord smile, happy about him turning around and saying, I'm going to give her a little bit of extra that.
Ooh, so good. So good. Drop the mic. So thank you, Dr. Rachel. Thank you for giving us such great gems. I appreciate you. I honor you. You know, I love you. And yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, and again, God bless you in your work. I know that He is in your work in so much of everything that you do, and sending blessings to every listener under our voices. Blessings.
Thank you, girl. With that said, thank you for joining us for this episode. Listen, if you got any value, which I know you did, I'm always going to ask you to share. Not because I'm trying to grow my listeners, not, yeah, of course, I'm kind of trying to do that, but that's not why I'm asking. I'm asking because somebody in your family, in your job, in your Facebook social media community needs this insight, and your share will give them exactly what they need. Okay? So until the next time, again, thank you. I'll see you in our next episode.